All right, this next story that we're going to do is, well, sort of makes me feel a little old because this is a story, a follow-up to a story that I did on Carolina Camera 22 years ago. It's about three brothers from Morganton who at the time were aspiring filmmakers. Here's a clip from that story back in 1989.
Okay, look, for this part, we'll use the long shot. And then when you sit down, we'll cut to a close-up and we'll probably zoom in so the background will be blurry.
Well, as you can see, this is no Hollywood production team. Rotan Films is actually three brothers from Morganton and their home VHS movie camera.
Scene 2, take 1. Action.
Using friends as actors, 20-year-old John shoots the action, 18-year-old Aaron co-directs.
John and I both just collaborate on telling the actress what to do and which shots to set up. It's been a mutual thing altogether.
Brother David, who's 13, acts mainly as a grip on location, but he does own the camera.
Okay, so that was back in 1989. Well, recently I caught up with all three Rotan brothers in Charlotte, and we caught up on all the things they've accomplished in the past 2 decades. The Rotan brothers, John, Aaron, and David, have been fascinated with making movies since they were children.
I think our grandfather bought a Super 8 silent movie camera at a yard sale and gave it to John and Aaron, and they started making movies with some friends, and then they brought me along just to play the kid they threw off the cliff or whatever. I was a stunt actor to begin with.
When Carolina Camera met up with the brothers in Morganton back in 1989, the boys had already been doing a lot of video work. And these weren't just simple home movies they were making. These were movies that had scripts, actors, and even special effects.
It's funny watching them nowadays. I mean, we were so proud of them back then. I mean, the audacity, we would go into like our youth group at church and say, look at this film we made, you know. And
they were all just...
They were like, okay. I mean, but, you know, they would sit through it. But, you know, and we were just like, cool. And look, you know, we took a pen and we scratched lasers on the Super 8 film, you know, to make the laser beams. And they were like, oh, that's great, you know.
As the boys grew older, they continued to focus on the craft of making movies. Both John and David graduated from the School of Filmmaking at the North Carolina School of the Arts. John went on to earn a master's degree from the American Film Institute in Los Angeles. Aaron graduated from North Carolina State with a degree in mass communication.
You know, I'd still like to make feature films one day when I grow up. I mean, Clint Eastwood is directing movies in his 80s, so I guess there's hope.
All three brothers have worked in the movie industry over the years. Real movies, major productions such as Last of the Mohicans, The Patriot, and others. They've worked alongside some of the biggest names in the industry. They've also collaborated on small-budget commercial movie projects of their own, writing, producing, and directing several direct-to-DVD movies that receive very positive reviews.
We're all on the same page, and we still, like, again, in the original story, we're brothers, so we kind of know what each other's thinking.
We can finish
each other's
sentences.
One movie the brothers made together, Lost Stallions, The Journey Home, starred screen legend Mickey Rooney.
I remember one day I'll never forget was on the set of Lost Stallions, The Journey Home, and John was busy with the crew setting up the lights and the camera, and Mickey and I just drove him around in the golf cart while they were setting up. And he just said, pull over here in the shade. And we were just waiting. And he just started telling all these true stories of old Hollywood and the golden age of Hollywood. And it just struck me. I'm getting this straight from the horse's mouth. You know, this isn't just something I read in a film history book.
It's the art and the craft of movie making. And that's what I love. That's what I think we all love, is just every element, the writing, the production, directing, editing, production design, everything, all those elements that you put in front of the camera and start rolling, and when all the elements come together, you affect people on sometimes a very profound level.
Although the brothers aren't working in movies full-time, they are all working in the video industry. John lives in Raleigh. He's a director of photography on TLC's 19 Kids and Counting show. Aaron's in Concord and is a commercial producer at a Charlotte television station. David lives in Virginia, where he's the production manager with a company that makes how-to videos. Their advice to aspiring filmmakers?
Learn the business side of things. And that's a really tough thing to learn.
Let your work speak for itself, and never give up.
Get your video camera and get out there, start making your movie.
The Rotan brothers have certainly come a long way since those early days of making VHS movies. As they look to the future, they say there's nothing more they'd like to do than eventually work together full-time, making movies.
Back when we were younger, I know I, for one, kind of saw us as the filmmaking team going out there and, taking over Hollywood somewhat, and making movies together. And we've done that. We've accomplished that. But I think there's more to come.
Wasn't that neat? I just love catching up with the Rotan brothers after all these years, and they are all really doing well, aren't they?